So in this video, we're just going to give just a quick brief overview of the resources associated with in-text citations. As you know, as you're writing and you're going to be citing different resources, whether it's a newspaper, journal article, conversation, email, classroom presentation, lecture, PowerPoint presentation. The resources can be from digital or in print, from many different mediums. But the key to it is as we're including information from others, we want to make sure that we give proper credit. And we do that by citing information. Two ways that we do that is we paraphrase or we do a direct quote. So within citations, as we said, the paraphrasing is when you take someone's information and you paraphrase it or you summarize it and put it in your own words. With that, your citation is going to be a little bit different than it will be in a direct quote. So for example, if we're looking at paraphrasing, I'm going to click on the paraphrasing section. It uses a different format. For example, we have what we call a citation. We have a narrative citation, and also we have a parenthetical citation. So if you're trying to figure out what's the difference between a narrative and parenthetical citation, when we look at the different types of citations, a parenthetical citation is basically just the parentheses, an author, and the year. A narrative citation is more likely where we're using the work or inside of a sentence saying that the authors did a specific action or presented specific information. It's in a narrative citation, it says it always spells out the word. So it's a little different. You put the author and then you put the year in parentheses. So as we're looking at that, the differences is when you're working with a narrative, and I can give you an example of a narrative and parenthetical citation. So here, as you can see, the first sentence in this paragraph they got from Jacobson 1938. So that's a parenthetical citation where they just put the parentheses, the author, and the year. So if we look in a different area and we're looking for a different example, we can look for a narrative. See, in the narrative it says you, which is the author here. In 2004 is when it published the article, and they saying that the author examined the effects of multimodal progressive muscle relaxation on psychological distress. So in this example, it's showing what the authors did. So we just put the author and then we put the year. That's a narrative citation. So just wanted to make sure you understood those two different formatting styles when it comes to your citations. Here, when we have long paraphrases, paraphrases still your words and your citing. As it said in the instructions here, you can have a paraphrase can be several sentences. But if it's within that same paragraph, you don't have to repeat the citations multiple times. It says, but if it goes into a new paragraph, you still have to reintroduce a citation. So for example, if you're paraphrasing and it has one paragraph, but then it's paraphrasing goes into another paragraph, what is it saying? You need to put it in both. So that's just basics of paraphrasing. Is your words, you put the citation, parenthetical citation at the end of your text. The other type of citation we have is a direct quote. And a direct quote is going to be a little bit different because with the direct quote, you're going to be quoting exactly what a person said, exact wording, no changes at all. Within that, so when you do a direct quote, you got to have the page number, and these are some examples of of how to cite a direct quote that has a page number. Also, some materials don't have a page number. So click on that example as well to see how to cite those examples that don't have those page numbers. And here's an example. It says provide a heading or section name, and as you can see, there's no page number provided. But if a paragraph is available, sometimes you can also enter that paragraph as well. And what they're saying is a heading or section name of the paper. So for example, in the paper you have different types of headings, and if you're direct quoting something from a paper that has a heading, what they're referring to is in the paper we have these the headings. So now if I'm looking for that direct quote, I can go back and look in that publication and look for that heading in order to find the resources quickly to find out exactly what was published. So that's what they're referring to when they're referring to a heading or section name with a paragraph. So this is the section is music forays, and then paragraph number 4. So that makes it easy if there's not a page number in the document when you're doing a direct quote. As we said before, when you're direct quoting, one thing that is required is that the text has to have the quotation marks around it. So you put the quotation mark at the beginning and at the end of the text, and then you put your citation afterwards, and making sure that you include that page number or the additional information for citations that don't include the page number. One thing you want to be very careful with is this is short. This is for short citations, less than 40 words. I think most of you have had experience doing that. You have the direct quote here, and after that, here's a parenthetical citation. And as you can see, author is more than 2 authors, 3 authors or more. So it says et al., period, comma, 1 space, the year 2018, comma, 1 space, P, period, for page, and 470. And it closes out the parentheses and then a period. So that's how you cite the direct quote right after it is presented. Now, sometimes you might have a quote that's more than 40 words. So look at the section here as well. Was just giving you a little bit more information. It says you're going to double space it. It says do not add any extra spaces before or after it. And the key part is on these block quotes, both text is going, the left and right margins are going to be increased by 0.5. So as you can see here, you want to increase that left margin a little bit more for that direct block quote. It says started block quote on a new line and indent the whole block 0.5 from the left margin. So that process is kind of simple. So what you want to do is go back to your Word document. You want to highlight it, and if you go to the paragraph under home and the paragraph section, what you want to do is highlight that section, and then I'm gonna select none and 0.5. What I'm doing is I'm just telling that whole section to be indented by 0.5. So that special is for the first paragraph, but here I'm going to say 0.5 by the left for all of it. So now you can see the whole paragraph is block indented, and that's how you do the block indentation. So once again, you go to the top menu under home, and you go to paragraph, and right here where it has indentation, you added the 0.5. But you got to have the text highlighted in order for that to happen. So that's how you do the block quoting for in text citations. The next thing I want you to make sure that you do is, as you see these little lines underlined, these are going to take you to different resources. So click on it to make sure you review those resources as well. But all it is taking the APA Style 7 and putting it in a website instead of in a book format. So within that, you have different examples of citations as well. So if we go here, I'm going to go back to the link again. Here's just some more examples of classroom and internet resources where you can have your citations, and it just gives some examples. Also, I'm providing a link to the OWL, Purdue OWL, and it does the same thing, provides the same information. It gives you outlines of how to have the in-text citations, the capitalization, the quotes, and italices. And also it gives you some more examples of different types of how to cite different types of authors within your works. For example, it's showing you more than work by 3 or more authors. It's showing you how to cite those works. Unknown authors is important because sometimes you're not going to have those in your research. 2 or more articles, and this is where you found information from multiple articles, but they're both stressing the same concepts. So look at those examples as well to make sure that you select the proper format as you're doing those citations for your papers.